Hey guys, welcome to ABA with Trina. Today we're talking about the 4 functions of a behavior. You can think of functions of a behavior as the reason for the behavior. So in ABA, we want to know, why are they doing this? So we want to find out the reason for the behavior, the function of the behavior. And in ABA, we recognize there to be 4 functions for any behavior. And it's really important to understand the function of a behavior or the reason for a behavior before you can influence the behavior. So we need to know why a kiddo is doing a certain thing before we know how to influence or shape that behavior into a more socially acceptable behavior. So the first function of a behavior is access. So the kid wants access to something. Typically it's a tangible item, like maybe a toy or food, something like that. I worked with one kiddo who was really grabby when we first started working together. Whenever I'd come in, because I always bring a big bag with me to the sessions, and whenever I'd come in, she would just be grabbing all over for whatever I had that was kind of hanging out of my bag. And once we taught her the skill to say, I want blah, 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 or I want ball, or I want LOL doll, whatever it is, then we saw a lot less grabbing and more communication. The second function of a behavior is escape. So they want to escape something. So maybe they don't like tracing, maybe they don't like people singing, maybe they don't like ABCs, whatever it is, there's something that they just want to get away from. I worked with one kiddo who would just slide down in her chair when she didn't want to do something and she would go all the way to the ground and start crying and go into a full behavior, a full tantrum. So once we taught her the skills to ask for a break or say she wants to be all done, then we saw a lot less of the tantrum behaviors. The third function or reason for behavior is attention. So maybe every time they want mom's attention, they scream, or maybe they go and hit mom whenever they want attention. So in those situations, we would teach the kiddo how to say, excuse me, or say mom's name, say mom. Or maybe if they don't have those communication skills yet, we can teach the kiddo how to tap mom's shoulder or tap mom's back to get her attention. I worked with one kiddo in the schools where he always wanted everybody's attention or certain teachers' attention. So he would come up with really creative ways to get everyone's attention. Maybe he would just randomly stand up and stand on his desk. Or maybe he'd run to the front door, the door of the classroom, and pretend like he was gonna leave. Or maybe he would just stand up and get in someone's face. I don't know. He came up with tons of ways to get people's attention. So for that kiddo, if he's seeking attention in ways that we might not want him to, we're going to ignore him and we're gonna redirect him to a more acceptable way to get attention. Or what we would do with this kiddo is we would praise the other kids around the classroom who were on task or doing what they're supposed to be doing. Like, oh, I love how Adam is in his seat, he's doing his work, he's doing such a good job. And of course, this kiddo hearing that, he would run back to his desk and sit down and start doing his work. And then we'd praise him like, oh, you're doing such a good job. I love how you're sitting. So with that kiddo, we would try to give him a lot of attention throughout the day when he was on task or doing things he was supposed to do. So that way he wouldn't have the desire to seek attention in all those other ways that we didn't really want. The last function or reason for behavior is sensory stimulation. So we all do this. We'll do things that just kind of feel good for us. Like for me, I play with my hair a lot. I'm not doing it because I want your attention. I'm not doing it to get out of something. I'm not doing it to gain access to anything. I'm just doing it because it feels good. So you might see this in special needs kids as maybe swaying or flapping or walking on their toes. Or I had one little girl who would always press on her eye. And I'll say that sensory stimulation is the toughest behavior to shape because it's automatically reinforcing. I think it'd be really hard for anyone to get me to stop playing with my hair because it's so automatic now and it feels good. I don't have a reason to stop. Or another way you might see it in kiddos, in special needs kiddos, is scripting, where they might just be scripting the same lines from maybe a movie over and over again. So those are the 4 functions of a behavior, or at least the 4 functions we recognize in ABA. So anytime you're trying to shape your kiddo's behavior, you need to know the function or the reason behind it before you can even begin to shape the behavior. Once you know the function or the reason behind the behavior, that is when you can implement the right strategy to shape it. Because if you have the wrong function, you're going to use the wrong strategy, and then you're not going to get the results you want to see. So once you know the reason behind it or the function behind the behavior, then you can come up with the replacement behavior. So that way the kiddo is getting their needs met and they're doing it in the more acceptable way. All right, guys, super short and simple video today. Maybe in the next few videos, we'll go over each function in depth and then maybe even come up with replacement behaviors. And please let me know if you have something that you're struggling with or need help with. You can always leave a comment with your question and I'll do a video on it. But all right, I hope that was helpful and I'll see you guys in the next video.